like to do is drawing, and I'm sick of maths because in Chinese school everything is maths. So one of my friends, he said, why not go into architecture? I don't even know what's architecture back then. So you draw, you don't need to study. Okay, let's go. So actually, me and Damon, we met in Lim and Kok.
What year was that?
That was year 2000.
Okay.
And we decided to to start and look for others academic school that to continue our architecture.
Right.
Yeah.
We went back to ALF and we get to know the lecturers, where they're from. ALF didn't just take us; he needs to interview us before they even took us.
Big difference in compared to Lim and Kok. I would say some a culture shock because everyone is so serious.
Yes.
Huh.
Yes, that is the
Compared to
Serious.
Lim and Kok.
Okay.
And the courses and the lecturers teaches us is more practical, and compared to Lim and Kok it's more very designing, very abstract arts. But this is more practicality in terms of architecture. The courses is very different.
Yes.
So we need to do a lot of catch up. Our classmates already have a good foundation compared to us. So all the technical stuff, all the detailings, we need to really catch up on the first year.
Because in Lim and Kok again, there are 60 to 80 a class. The lecturer wouldn't know if you're there or not. That's the difference. Smaller group and lecturer could pay more attention on you.
Yeah, smaller group.
Rahim helped me a lot as in trying to understand what's architecture, and he told me about his experience back then when he was studying in the US, in the States, and he told me a bit of the reality, some of your degrees wouldn't be recognized when you're back from overseas, and all this, and they keep feeding all this reality stuff to us, and just trying to make sure that are you choosing the right path, and or if you look at the other way around, they're just trying to make us tougher, to be prepared for whatever is gonna hit you. So I really appreciate 3 years of studies in LA because they really get us prepared. And what really changes my mind to be more serious is when I get to know my classmates more, because apparently they are not as lucky as us. Yeah, their family background and financial states and all that. Yeah, and that's why they are so serious, because they can't lose anything anymore. This is their last ticket for professionalism. That's when things really hit me, and I really take my studies seriously. I wouldn't say architecture, but my studies seriously. And we in ALF already saw reality with our classmates, and then what's the word? You become more organized and more disciplined with every aspect of our life. I think that's how ALF prepared us. By the time we realized, I think we were planning to which uni we're supposed to go, because obviously we want to further our studies and complete the 2 degrees. So I think at that point, Ethos is the cheapest, as in tuition fees wise. So we all just moved to Ethos.
And I would say surprisingly, this group of ALF, when we went to Ethos, I would say we are quite good.
Yes.
Among
the others,
even compared to the locals, Australians or Singaporeans. Yes, their language is better, their English is better, but in terms of technical and design, discipline, everything, we are better. And I would say, like just now we said, Dex and Hans are among the
top students.
in UTAS.
So 5th year, it's our final year, and the lecturer is trying to make sure that we know what we are doing. It's not just looking at precedents, then you imitate or you just modify, but things that really come out from yourself, like design, and how can you design when you do not know about yourself. So he forced us to explore ourselves, and we draw this diagram and all that. And I thought every designer must do that, because it really, I found my design, my ethos from there, and I believe most of my classmates as well travel backpacking around the world, then they come back, and that's where I see why traveling is very important for architects, because every time you travel you see things differently, and that really inspire how you play with space, and it really opens up my eyes, like why students must travel overseas at least 1 year, stay there, live their culture, and see what's a university life.
But I would say the experiences were different in UTAS, because you join with the foreigners, you need to talk to their language, you need to suit to their culture, and some group works you need to really stand up to express your ideas.
Until, like as I mentioned, my final year, when I knew more about myself, then I started to open up myself to them, I talked more to them, and I think that's where it prepares me for my stay in Melbourne for the next 3 or 4 years. When I got into this company called Thompson Asset, they are specializing in healthcare. The boss or the managing director of Melbourne, the Melbourne branch, realized that my strength is in retail and commercials. So he put me in that part. That's where they slow down on that. Then they throw me into aged care and healthcare.
Yes, he decided to stay in Melbourne, and I went back to Malaysia. But once you step into the real world, it's totally different. It's not about design, it's not about AutoCAD, it's not about like how good your skills are. It's about communications and problem solving. This is more important.
He was like, well, he's running 10 projects at once. Are you kidding me? In Australia, each team handles one project, and each team comprises of like at least three person, and he is running 10 projects. So at one point I didn't believe him, I thought he's just boasting about what he was experiencing. But until I came back to Malaysia, then I realized, whoa, like the architect's life in Malaysia is really tough. Like,
in Malaysia is very different. You need to be very independent, and I can still remember the first week when I was in my previous company is an EDP, Environmental Design Practice, and Remember, and my boss brought me to the site for site meeting the first week, and I'm sitting there facing like more than 10 people, consultants, engineers, contractors, everyone were there, and my boss asked me to chair the meeting.
right.
He just threw me a minutes of meeting, and I need to chair check everything. So that was a shock for me.
Right.
And he even said after this week, the coming weeks you have to come yourself. So I had no choice. I need to learn very quick. I need to pick up everything in one meeting, and everything I don't know I have to go back and check with my seniors workers or check back to the bosses. So this is the way that architect learns in Malaysia, and it's not like you can sit down and draw your. I want to draw a bathroom if possible, but you need to like handle all sorts of things like you constructions matters, like M&E, CMS, all you have to learn. So that was a very good experience to me during the first 2 years in EDB. And slowly my boss gave me 2, 3, 4 projects, like slowly let me handle a lot of projects. So during that time I need to travel like almost the whole peninsula of Malaysia, because some of it in Taipei, some of it in Johor. So you need to learn a lot of architecture stuff in different stages, from design to constructions to authorities. All this you started to pick up, which is you can't learn it during your academic year. So maybe I'm lucky enough because most of the project is quite interesting. Like Charles said, he's more in healthcare, HCare, and commercial. And myself in my previous company is more on hospitals. Like just like I said, 10 projects out of 7 are hospital projects.
Right.
Yeah. And another 3 maybe residential, terrace house, condominiums.
Right.
So you need to like equip yourself to handle all these things, and you need to become a quick problem solver.
Right.
At site. During that few years, as I said, I learned a lot, and I'm improving. Like the graph is like, but I think we make a very quick decision. I think I can still remember at that Subang City. we sat there for a night.
Yeah.
And then we make a decision. So the next day, I tendered my resignation letter, and we started to look for office, and start to plan everything in 1 to 2 weeks time. Because when we started off this company, we have a lot of support from contractors and also from relatives. Like we just did an office for our contractor, and it's turned out quite well, and also it's published in one of the magazines. Our main idea to come up with our own is we want to practice our own architectures and our own design.
Right.
Own way to look at building or even interior space.
Yes. In fact, we provide design and build services. Ali really opened up my eyes in the